Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Lady Mimi Wen. Thanks for joining me today. A few weeks ago, this island felt quiet, mostly untouched. This week, a search for building materials led to hidden treasures, new residents, and a few unexpected surprises. Little by little, it feels like life is beginning to take root here. Last time, I started preparing the island for the little community I've been imagining. I continued shaping the land, laying out pathways, and building the first home for one of our future residents. And in the end, I realized I didn't need the entire plan to keep moving forward. In this episode, I'm setting out to make a few supply runs, gather materials, build a librarian study, and hopefully convince a few villagers to relocate to their new home. Honestly, it's a lot to accomplish, so we better get started. I'm about to head out on a little adventure because I need materials that I don't have yet. Fortunately, I know a certain spot where I might be able to find them. Of course, uncovering them is going to take a little work because they're not exactly out in the open waiting for me. Off we go! Here it is! And yet again, I forgot to bring a shovel. I guess I better make one because it is completely necessary for this whole process. Most of the time, I leisurely excavate a trail ruin. It's not a quick process. Today, though, I'm here simply for the purpose of finding brick blocks. I'm sure you'd be completely bored watching all of it, so I'll just show you a few snippets. If you're able to pay close attention to the gravel, you can find some interesting treasures buried within them. Sometimes it's string, or seeds, or pottery shards. Other times, it's a rare find, such as a smithing template, which I actually haven't ever used myself. Honestly, I think one of the things I enjoy about trail ruins is that you never know what might be hidden beneath the surface. It's a treasure hunt. All right, I already cleared out one large room full of brick blocks. This is the last room in this trail ruin, so I thought I'd save it to show you. All done. Let's take a look at everything I uncovered. This is amazing. I originally came here looking simply for brick blocks. By the time I was finished, I had uncovered far more than I expected. In life, we sometimes have our sights set on one thing and then discover that the Lord has already provided much more than we realized. Other items I'll need for this project are mine rails and mine carts. So I popped down into this mine shaft to collect some rails. I'll have to make the mine carts myself. Of course, I won't pass up these beautiful diamonds and lapis lazuli. Time for a little building. I'm not quite finished building yet, but I have found it's much easier to move the villagers in before finishing. And let me tell you, it's going to take a lot of work and creativity. I came over here to this village the other day and discovered that even more villagers had gotten stuck in my boats. So I took advantage of the opportunity and went ahead and locked in the trades with the fishermen. Sir, I think I have other plans for you, so you're going to have to be patient and wait to come to my village. These two gentlemen look good. Although this guy can't seem to decide what job he wants. That's okay, he can just come along. Wow, that was easier than usual. It's getting dark, but I think I'm going to keep working since this is going so well. Now, in case you're wondering about all this dirt, I always create a barrier to make it easier to get the villagers into minecarts. You know, so they don't run off. I just need to do a little bit of finagling here. Sorry, buddy. Perfect. Well, that was unfortunate. At least it wasn't my librarian. Wonderful. He went exactly where he was supposed to go. I wonder if he connected to a bed, though. I better make sure. Well, that didn't take long. Now, let's see if he connects to a lectern. Woohoo! I'll just push him a little closer so he can work. Off for round 2. I am not making the same mistake twice. Just fill this in completely. Sometimes you gotta get a little pushy. Encouraging with these guys.
Huh?
I don't like hitting them, but sometimes they get stuck in a loop. No, wait! That's the farmer! Sir, this isn't your house. Oh no, I forgot to pick up his lectern. Well, this might be a good time to go up to my house and quickly sleep through the night. Then I'll make a few lecterns. Sir, I have the item you requisition. Last night I worked late again and brought the fishermen over as well. Today I want to finish my building by adding a little bit more beauty on the outside. And here's the finished librarian study. One of my favorite things to do after I lock in a villager trade is to give the villager a name. It's just fun and makes the world feel a little bit more alive. So, meet Mr. Fortunato. Because he's my fortune villager trade librarian. Excuse me, sir, what are you doing up there? I see you're on top of your work today, Mr. Ashby. Earlier in the episode, I mentioned how trail ruins often contain treasures hidden beneath the surface. As I spent time excavating the ruin, I uncovered much more than the brick blocks, including a few unexpected surprises. It reminded me that many times in life, the things we're looking for aren't always as far away as we think they are. Sometimes there are gifts, strengths, opportunities, and God-given treasures that have already been placed within us. Yet over time, they can become buried beneath fear, disappointment, self-doubt, limitations, or simply the busyness of everyday life. As I looked around the island and saw the villagers settling into their homes, that new librarian study, and all the progress that was made, I realized something. I continued wearing this iron armor even though I already had diamonds sitting in storage waiting to be used. So I finally decided it was time to stop saving them and put them to use by crafting a set of diamond armor. And that made me think about how often we do that in our own lives. Sometimes we're so busy living life that we don't stop to take inventory of the strength, wisdom, experience, gifts, and blessings that the Lord has already provided us. The diamonds had been sitting there all along. I just hadn't put them to use yet. The resources I needed for the next part of the journey were also already available to me. I simply wasn't using them. What about you? Could there be gifts waiting to be unveiled? Strengths waiting to be recognized? Opportunities waiting to be explored? Dreams waiting to be pursued? What if your next step isn't always about finding something completely new? Perhaps it's about unveiling what the Lord has already placed within you from the very beginning. Thank you so much for joining me on my adventure. If you were encouraged today, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to click that little bell to get notified when I post new content. Have a blessed day. Bye.